Hey, what's up, everybody? Bill Allen from Seven Figure Flipping. And so many people from my community have been asking me, should I submit my PPP application for forgiveness? So they got a PPP loan and they're looking at forgiveness now and submitting their application. So I want to answer that question here and go through a little bit about what I'm thinking about for my forgiveness app. So about a week ago, it was August 13th or so, my bank, Pinnacle Financial Partners in Nashville, opened up applications that Friday for PPP forgiveness. And they said, hey, anybody wants to apply, set it up. So now what happened was people that tried to go in there, they didn't have all of the SBA PPP loans uploaded into their database. And they have an online application that if your loan wasn't uploaded, then you couldn't even get in to apply for it. So here's my thinking behind it. Right now, there's two applications, and you guys have probably seen them. The SBA put out a 10-page standard application and then a shorter easy application. But what we think might come, and right now we're kind of waiting to see what happens with the stalemate in Congress and all of this stuff for more of this CARES Act type structure. But what might happen is there might be like this super easy form that comes out that basically, the other thing is a lot of CPAs are thinking that if you are under a certain threshold, they're just going to say automatically forgiven, because the timeline that we have right now is way longer than the 2.5 months of structure and then 8 weeks of, so 2.5 months is what you got given to you basically. And then we had 8 weeks initially to run our payroll and any other qualified expenses like utilities, like mortgages, rent, those kind of things. And so right now it's pretty easy to make your pay as long as you kept those people on staff or even kept close to it to get even slightly less than 100%. So if you keep the number of people, the average number of people that you had, and you're making payroll, you're doing all those things, it's like we've already gotten to the point after about 10 to 12 weeks where we had, we'd paid out more than we've gotten from the PPP. So at this point, there's a time where you have to start paying interest. So now people are saying, well, we're starting to get close to that. My initial plan with my CFO was we are going to submit our application immediately after we pay all the money out, submit the application. Well, it took them a long time to get the application set up, but now it's there and it's available at my bank. So now the question that I have is, do we fill out an application or do we wait? So we have up to 10 months right now to file for forgiveness before we're having to pay interest or anything happens with that loan. And it's not like we're going to get any money back if we apply for forgiveness. It's some workload that we have in order to submit for it to be forgiven. Here's my thought on it. Number one, I don't necessarily want to be the guinea pig. I don't necessarily want to be the first person to submit and get denied, or adjustments need to be made, or all those things. And then changes happen down the road where we did a whole bunch of work right now where they come out with automatic forgiveness or a super easy form that's just put in your information, application, a couple of documents, and that's it. It doesn't look like it's going to be that challenging if we can fill out the easy form for us as it would be for the full form. So let me run through what my bank says for the easy form. So here's the questions. It says, in general, you can use the easy application if you can certify and prove that your employment levels stayed the same, or can certify and prove that reductions in employment levels were due to a drop in business because of the pandemic, or can certify and prove that wages stayed the same or weren't reduced by more than 25%, are a self-employed individual, independent contractor, or sole proprietor who had no employees at the time of the PPP loan application and did not include any employee salaries in the loan application form. So either one, you've got a bunch of employees and you can certify that the employment levels stay the same, or that reductions in employment levels were due to a drop in business because of the pandemic, which is different than what we saw before. Or you can certify and prove that the wages stay the same and weren't reduced by more than 25%. And then the other option is you're a self-employed individual and it's just you. So maybe you were that landlord that applied, that Airbnb host that applied, those kind of folks, the contractor that you're a 1099 contractor, you applied for your own business, independent contractor, sole proprietor, and you didn't have any employees at the time and you didn't use any employee funds to calculate your numbers for your PPP application. So if any of those things happen, you can use the easy form. And so the easy form is definitely the easy way to go versus that 10-page form. So here's the process from my bank. So my bank process right now is they have a calculator tool. So they have a section on how the application works. And I'm just going to walk you through what they say. Step 1, open the application and fill in the lookup information. Step 2, answer the first few questions. That'll help you figure out if you need to do the easy or the full application. So in order to open up the application, you have to use your EIN. You have to put in the amount of the PPP money that you got. And then at that point, they'll search the database and try to find your loan. And if it's not in there right now, then you can't even file an application. Step 2, answer the questions to see if you can do the easy. Then you can open the calculator tool. So they actually give us a calculator tool. You can download it. And I'll put the link to my bank right here in the comments section so you can take a look at all this stuff and dive deeper if you want. Just realize that your bank is going to have to start accepting applications, get their system figured out before, so you might be a little bit behind ours. You might be ahead of ours. And if anybody has submitted their PPP forgiveness application and has been successful and has some feedback, please drop it in the comments, share it with us. I would love to hear that. So at that point, if you open the corresponding calculator tool, complete that, finish the application, upload all the documentation that's needed. So there's a bunch of documentation that's going to be needed based on the application that you fill out. And then the bank will review it. So here it says, the bank will review it. They'll receive the application. You'll be able to access the application, make any necessary edits during that time, and then re-upload documents if it gets kicked back. Then you sign the application, and then the bank submits it to the SBA for final approval. So our bank has an SBA representative in-house that is looking at this, making sure the I's are dotted, the T's are crossed before it goes to the SBA. So hopefully no issues. So our bank will kick it back before we submit it for final approval. And then at that point, we'll submit it. So pretty cool stuff. Like, I think the biggest thing for me is I don't want to be the last person to do it, and I don't want to be the first person to do it. So we're probably going to be somewhere in the middle. I told my CFO, like, look at it. We're all prepared. We got all the documentation. We've got our spreadsheet. We've got all the numbers. We are ready to submit this application, even if we have to do the long form. But we answered in those questions. All of that stuff is right. We did not drop. In fact, we actually hired people during this. We did not drop employee salaries. We didn't do any of those things. So there's no reason why we are not able to use the EZ form. So she's going to go through there. And when we do fill it out, I'd say in the next couple of weeks, probably, I'm going to wait a little bit to see what happens in Congress and the White House and all that stuff. But in the next couple of weeks, I plan on filling it out. We plan on submitting it. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a video. We're going to follow along the process. We're going to show you the application. Obviously, we'll mark out a lot of our things, like our sensitive information and things like that. But we'll share it right here for you guys so you can watch the process. You can see what it's like. I'll talk through how we filled it out, or have Madison, my CFO, do that. And we'll share it with you guys. So I hope you guys like this. I hope you understand kind of the methodology and mindset that I'm using in not necessarily being the first one and waiting a little bit. There's no real gain that I have right now other than knowing that monkey's off my back, that the forgiveness application is approved. It's been forgiven. And don't forget, the first question on there is going to be, did you get any idle money? So that EIDL money, right? So if you got the $10,000 grant in the beginning, then that's going to be removed. So if you got $100,000 for your PPP and you got $10,000 grant from the SBA for the EIDL, then you're only going to be forgiven $90,000 of your PPP, because that $10,000 is that forgivable amount that you got on the EIDL program, and that's going to come out of your PPP money. So you will have that $10,000 to go back to the SBA bank, wherever it goes, and take care of that. So we're in that situation. We got that initial EIDL grant, and so we're going to have to reduce our PPP amount by some amount, and then I'll tell you what that process is when we get to that point where I have to pay it back. So keep that in mind. If your bank account's getting close to zero and you did that $10,000 EIDL and the PPP, you're going to be paying that money back. So be prepared for that. So hopefully this was helpful. If it was, subscribe to our channel, like it, share it with your friends. This is something that a lot of people need to know. They need to understand that this is going on, this process. Look into it. Click the link below to my bank. Check it out, see what that is all about, and then compare it to what your bank's doing. You can download the calculators and things like that. The application is inside their system, so you can't download the application, but you can go to the SBA website. I'll include that link too, where you can download the 10-page application and the easy application. So hopefully you guys like this. We've got a ton more videos on the channel here, and hopefully you guys subscribe, hang out with us. We're also doing an amazing event in October for real estate investors, October 15th through the 17th. It's called Flip Hacking Live, and it's 3 days. We're going to be talking about the marketplace, where it is right now, what we're doing to prepare our personal finances, our business finances, things like that, to move into these new opportunities that are coming in the real estate market with foreclosures, people losing their jobs, all that stuff. It does create opportunity for us as real estate investors, and we want to make sure those win-win situations continue to happen, and we can supply great properties, fixed up, renovated houses, and also help sellers when they're in a time of need. So we'll be doing 3 days, virtual experience, absolutely amazing. We've got keynote speakers. I got 24 different speakers. Nation's top wholesalers and house flippers are going to be there. So hopefully you come hang out with us. You can go to fliphackinglive.com, grab your tickets. I'll put a link to that below too. So again, subscribe, give us a like, click the little bell, come and join us, get notifications when we do more videos. And I hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you soon.